from a frenzied beat. This is the heart I render unto thee. More than 1,000 candles, more than 100 handles, more than the brightest sunshine in our closet, on our doorstep. More than 1,000,000 teardrops from your eyes, more than 1,000 stars in 1,000 skies, greater than all the rivers, smaller than all the slivers. This is the most gigantic love of all time.
What would you do?
You really love your parents. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a trip someplace overnight, or yeah, that would a trip someplace would be nice.
A trip someplace.
Sure.
Okay. All right. You're going to get me in a lot of trouble on this one. Okay.
It's probably
well,
an expensive one.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Survey. It's sort of a personal kind of a survey. It is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary tomorrow. And we do not know what to do for their 50th. It's sort of last minute. We don't know what we're going to do. What if it were your parents' wedding anniversary? What would you do for a 50th wedding anniversary? Yes. You wrote a poem for him. You're a poet. Yes. Do you recall what your poem was like?
Something with champagne noises. I think you should do something you should do.
Yes. I think that's a good idea. That's kind of what we sort of have in
That's what
mind.
you're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Rob Solomon said that this is a woman on the street interview.
Oh yes, yes. Please,
And
we'd like to know.
Here's what I think.
Yes.
Wrap the hubby in saran wrap, okay? Then jump into a vat of chocolate, and then we're talking mad, passionate, kissy face, okay?
Gee, thank you.
So,
That's a great idea.
Have a good time.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks. Sir. Yes. Yes. We are conducting a survey. It is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary on July 4th, which is tomorrow. We have not a clue as to what we're going to do for their anniversary. I know this is sort of last-minute tactic here. So we're like interviewing people on the street as to what they might do or what they think would be a good idea
For the 4th of July.
For the 4th of July and a 50th wedding anniversary. Please tell us, what would your idea be?
Have you thought of fireworks?
Fireworks. What? That's something
Probably
we haven't-
original,
Yeah,
different?
very original idea. Yes.
You take them to the beach. It's always a
Beach,
favorite
yes,
spot in summertime.
Yes. Yeah.
You're not coming right off the top of my head.
Well, thank you very
I'm
much.
doing my best. You're welcome.
I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Thank you. Excuse me, ma'am.
I don't like being here.
No. Okay. I have to, a personal survey. Tomorrow, July 4th, is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And we are at the last minute. We have no plans. We don't know what we're going to do. What would you do if it was your parents' 50th wedding anniversary?
I'd take them to the beach.
You take them to the beach. Okay, thank you very much. Excuse me. No, it's not, no. Oh, nothing.
Oh, really?
tomorrow, July 4th, is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, and we do not have a plan yet as to what we're going to do for their anniversary. What would you do if it was your parents' 50th wedding anniversary? Or what have you done?
Parents never get to the 50th.
They, yes?
However, I think it's a special meaningful day. Take them to dinner somewhere.
Take them to dinner. Okay, we'll do that. Thank you.
Looks great.
Excuse me. We're doing this survey. It's our parents' 50th wedding anniversary tomorrow. In fact, I think it's your parents' 50th.
My parents are having a 50th
Your
wedding
parents,
anniversary.
yes, tomorrow, July 4th.
I totally forgot about it.
Well, like, you know, kind of impromptu, sort of like, what would you do now that you're on the spot here? What would you do?
I don't know. Can I throw money? Can I give them money?
Money! Now, there is a novel idea. No one has suggested money.
What's today's date?
July 3rd.
July 3rd?
Yes. Yeah.
And mom and dad's is tomorrow night?
Tomorrow.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, bye. Hi, we're doing an interview. Tomorrow is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, and my family has not any idea what to do for their 50th anniversary. So we're asking people, what would you do if it was your parents' 50th wedding anniversary? What would your idea be?
Good question.
What would you do? Huh?
I don't know, so it's 4th of July,
Yes, I know.
biggest day.
Yes, that's right.
You should do something that's really special for them. For my parents, I would, you know, buy a plane ticket for them to go to Hawaii or someplace else to get away, you know.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it's summertime, you know.
Yes. Well, that's a very nice idea. Anyway. Buy them a gift? Yes. Well, that's a nice idea too. Thank you. Bye. Survey. No. Just one quick question. It's my parents' 50th wedding anniversary tomorrow, July 4th. And my family has not made any plans for their anniversary. We're at a loss for ideas. What would you do for your parents for their 50th anniversary? Take them out to dinner. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Yes, tomorrow is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, July 4th, and my family has not a clue as to what they're going to do for my parents for their anniversary. What would you do for your parents? Have a party. Okay, thanks.
Have a good one.
July 4th is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, and my family, we don't have a plan yet of what we're going to do, and I know this is a big anniversary, so we're like asking people, what would you do if it was your parents' 50th anniversary? You know, whatever. What would you what would you do?
I'd like a hot air blue light, you know, early morning sunrise. They give you champagne, lay on the ground, and you can have breakfast. I think it's out in Barrington. I did it for my mother's 50th birthday.
Great.
It was wonderful.
Great.
It was very nice.
Thanks.
Hey Jill, would you come in here? You know, I've been doing these stupid figures all night long, and I every time I add it up, it doesn't come out to 100%. I don't know where I'm making the mistake. I got the dinner sector, I have Montreal, and the fun, and I make the proper divisions, as you can see, but every time I do it, it comes out to more than 100%. You know, like I think I have one of those blocks or something, you know, I just can't get it. What do you think? Is there,
Well,
have I got something wrong here?
yeah, I think I see the problem, Rob.
Yeah.
Aren't you adding food into the total fun calculation here?
Food's not fun?
No, look, the axiom. You always tell me this. Food is not fun.
Oh,
Food does not equal
Oh, you're
fun.
right, you're right. If I find the act, I don't know, I've got it written here, but I haven't been if I apply that and then adjust this, then it works out.
Yeah, take your y-axis.
It works out. So in other words, the total of the food plus the residual fun plus the dinner at the Blue Strawberry, that equals the total package. Am I right? Is that right?
I think that's probably correct.
Terrific. Okay.
Ruth and Harold Solomon, a young couple, a handsome couple, a house in the suburbs, 2.3 children. The world is their oyster, or so they think. They can't imagine in the midst of their youthful existence that they will ever be married for 50 years, not in their ordinary world. But perhaps this world is not as ordinary as it seems. Perhaps behind all the glamour lurks something more sinister. Ruth and Harold will soon see each other through older, wiser eyes. They've just crossed over into the anniversary zone.
A pretty town, a tourist town, full of fine restaurants.
Gathering French, and he's from France from the.
This is the Blue Strawberry, its finest restaurant. It is here, tonight, perhaps even at this very restaurant, that Ruth and Harold will begin their descent into the anniversary zone. What's that car? What is that car coming down this street? It's a car on a street that there are usually no cars. It's a car. It's a car.
Well, there's
Here they come now. Travelers from another age, another time. A time much simpler than ours. They're being chauffeured by a mysterious man from another dimension. There they are, the golden couple. Look at their bemused, dazed expressions. Do they understand? Do they know?
Do we know what's going on?
Do they look like two people who have shared bed and hearth for 50 years?
Oh, God, no. 50 years? It's not possible. You wouldn't answer such a question. What's the answer to this question?
What zone have they entered? Where are they?
The anniversary zone.
That whole thing from the...
We're out here at this incredibly posh restaurant and trying to be very, very nonchalant
Trying to be very posh.
about being in the anniversary zone.
Whoa, watch that.
We've almost gotten through the meal without strangling each other. There have already been several incidents, strange incidents concerning the air conditioning, concerning the
Are you
wine.
voicing that on the
This is a delving into the wedding zone.
The anniversary zone.
Miss Jan, are you going off to the bathroom by any chance?
No, but your mother is.
Because, would you come here for a minute?
He has no shame.
If you're going out to the bathroom, would you just would you take this up to the bathroom with you and check out the graffiti? Okay, Ma. Drink it now without blowing it out. This is, lift it up.
I'm gonna blow it out.
This is the Flaming Galleon.
You ready?
The Flaming Galleon section of the anniversary zone.
And blow it out.
Put them together. Let's see you toast them together. The Flaming Galleon section of the anniversary zone.
Now you can sing it.
Okay. L'chaim, and don't do this again for another 50 years.
50 years from now.
50 years from now. What?
Oh my God. That is hot.
See, it's
Whoa.
Oh, my head is spinning. What a night. The drinking, the partying, the babes. My memory's kind of hazy, but I remember Janet tripping on some duck's liver and landing headfirst into her salmon pate. And Dad, at one point, he pulls his pants up under his underarms and goes from table to table, mumbling, "Alms for the poor." And at one point, Rudy literally pulled down the air conditioner, all the while yelling, "You call this a high-priced restaurant? I'll show you high-priced." Oh yeah, I gotta remember to bail Rick out this morning.
A few words here about Texas.
Texas is the largest state in the Union.
Yes.
It has the biggest heart. I just brought it out, though, when I came up here. And I've loaned it to Mom because she, with her great big heart now, can make New York or Florida the largest state in the Union. If you don't understand that, I'll approach it in a different manner.
This is an incredibly long discussion here.
Short and to the point.
Okay.
All right, well, we're gonna run out of tape here.
Did run out of tape?
Yeah.
How about running out of the bathroom?
Goodbye. Well, here we are. We're backing up here.
Bye now.
We're saying goodbye.
Bye. See
We're
you
saying
in
goodbye.
Florida.
Now we're gonna sweep in here to where the real action is. Over here. Chef Robert.
This is, we should explain, this is basically the morning after, and we're all feeling pretty embarrassed about our behavior from the night before. And, you know, we have certain remedies here for hangovers. This is my favorite. You take this and you rub it in your face. You stick your nose into this area.
Which area is that?
Like this. You do this, and as you do this, it begins to. You feel the receding of the pain. The eyeball starts to stop stinging quite as much because nobody wants to eat this afterwards. but nonetheless.
Sounds good. What is this part here?
What this?
This part
This
here.
is the smell sector. This is the part that we do.
We're gonna
smells. We don't eat it because it clogs up your arteries. But we smell it. It doesn't clog up your arteries when you smell it.
Sounds good. He's finally up and dressed.
When I see that light goes on, that means...
Ready to eat. That's the ravenous look. Mom just off the phone talking to Chris. Also, everybody's sort of waiting, hovering, waiting for Chef Robert. Look at the deft way in which he handles that spatula. Oh my!
Excuse me.
Pan away.
I'm far too tense to be on film when I'm doing this. Very scary.
A few words from the chef, right?
Oh, look at this. No stick, how it doesn't stick at all. Oh, the chisel out.
Did you put butter in?
No. It's supposed to be no.
You know, sometimes you can tell about God's relationship to the various people that abide on this planet by how he sanctions various events, important events in the lives of two people. And looking to the skies and looking for a sign, as we often do on this 4th of July, 50th anniversary, I think the following can be said. God's biblical relationship to Ruth and Harold, I think, would best be exemplified by the story of Noah and the ark, in which God essentially says, get your animals on board because, you know, I'm not entirely happy. I'm not entirely certain that you've followed all the biblical commandments. And so on this day, we're kind of reminded that God's relationship to Ruth and Harold is a special one. And you know, every event requires intricate, complicated, and caring preparation. The cuisine needs to be carefully prepared. All the activities need to be sorted and put together. And then there's that special contribution that people make in their own individual way to what they intend to contribute. For instance, one Hap Moore. Look at him, hard at work, in full preparation of the proceedings that are about to transpire. Yes, Hap Moore, the man, the myth.
Here
day. We could go on loving in the same old way. A garden of Eden, just made for two, with nothing to mar our joy. Oh, I would say such wonderful things to you. There would be such wonderful things to do if I were the only girl in the world and you were the only boy.
Yo, Grandma. Yo, Grandma.
Yo, Grandpa.
Happy anniversary. Yeah.
This is the Swami from East Norwichami. Oh, now, for those of you in the audience who do not know, the Swami will hold a completely hermetically sealed envelope to his head, and amazingly, he will be able to tell you the answer to the question that is written and sealed within that envelope. Mr. Swami, sir! Mr. Swami, wake up, sir!
I'm feeling vibrations. Let me begin. The original telephone number in East Norwich.
The original telephone number in East Norwich.
Oyster Bay 61886.
That is correct, sir! You are correct, sir!
It's coming to me now. The children's phone in East Norwich.
The children's phone in East Norwich.
(922-3686).
Correct, yes! You are amazing, sir!
The method for the poker game.
For the poker game.
Is there an echo in here? The method for the poker game rotation.
Rotation.
ARLP ARP. Anita, Ruth, Libby, and Pat.
Remarkable! Correct! Sir, you are a genius! Remarkable.
Okay. Grandma and Grandpa's telephone number.
Telephone number.
Wadsworth 79181.
Mr. Swami, yes!
Please, accolades make me very tense.
Mr. Swami, sir!
The combination of the post office box when we had when we had a post office box at the post office. The combination when we had a post office box at the post office.
Post office.
The letters HIFA hypha.
Correct again, sir.
And now, the one that truly tests the Swami's great abilities. Please, can I have absolute quiet? Shh. Ricky Weissman's telephone number. Ricky Weissman's telephone number.
You forgot the number, sir!
922-3492.
That is correct, sir!
The Swami now returns to his mountainside retreat. Now, Mom, this is your 50th anniversary, and what I'd like you to do is just my own curiosity. Could you describe for me when and how you first met Dad, and who was this guy? What was the deal with him?
Jeez. How did I first meet Dad?
Well, you got to speak up.
Okay. Let's see. Louise Martello, who I went to school with, and Louise Martello's brother shared an apartment on West End Avenue. And at that point, Louise had a boyfriend, Murray. And Murray and Harold were good friends. And he said, "Gee, I'd like you to meet this guy, Harold. He's great. I think you two would hit it off. Why don't I bring him around some night and we'll all go out, we'll go to the local pub and we'll dance and have a good time." And sure enough, he brought Harold one night for a blind date. And in walked this tall, skinny guy. It must have been wintertime because he had an overcoat on and a hat on. And I thought to myself, oh, he looks rather interesting.
You could tell. I mean, he was skinny, but you knew he was like not a nerd or a nebbish or something.
Well, I knew he looked interesting. I wasn't quite sure what his personality was going to be like. It was just my first impression. And he took off his hat, and I thought, oh no, this guy is bald. I mean, he's 27 years old and he's bald.
You were not interested in baldness?
And I was not interested at all in anyone that was bald. I thought that was a sign of approaching age and approaching maturity, and I wanted someone that was young and vital looking.
Dad didn't fit the description of vitality?
It didn't fit the description at that point. But he had a wonderful, wonderful personality, and he was a superb dancer, and we just seemed to hit it off. After that initial experience of my negative reaction, the more time I spent with him, the more I realized what a great guy he was.
And was there like a kiss involved on this first date, or?
I don't even remember that.
Do you remember the first kiss?
No, I don't.
It was such a
gradual.
It was such an important moment with your relationship with Dad. You don't remember the kiss.
I don't remember the first kiss. No, I do not remember that. Nor do I remember the sexual attraction at that point. I think it was a gradual attraction that developed the longer we knew one another. And don't forget, those were the years of, I mean, it wasn't instantaneous sexual gratification the way it was today. So things have changed. Now, Dad may have a different opinion.
Well, we'll
maybe he will say, that first kiss, I remember it that night, just like that.
Well, we will certainly ask him.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you.
On, Rick.
Well, I'm just very little to say. I'm just overwhelmed at the show of support for the two senior Solomons. It's been a great pleasure to be here and participate in this.
And you've peaked, haven't you?
And I think for me, I've definitely reached my peak.
Well, Rick, I have just a couple questions here to ask you.
Okay.
Here it is. What is your earliest memory of either one of your parents?
My earliest memory, good question, is being in a crib and having this plastic sheet put over the top of the crib, and my mother was so convinced that when you were sick, you had to have all this hot, moisturized air blowing in. I had this sheet over the crib and this tube of moisturized air. I felt like I was in a steam bath. That's my earliest memory.
Is that really?
Yes, this is true.
Being steamed, I like
Being
that.
steamed by Mom.
Do you remember being spanked ever?
I do. It was usually a hairbrush. And it was Dad. Dad with the hairbrush.
Was the spanker.
Was the spanker.
Mm.
That's definitely.
Yeah,
There was a belt occasionally.
Was there really a belt? Now, Janet and Rob have contended that there's a belt.
Yes, there was a belt.
Was it threatened or was it actually?
I think it was actually used.
Mm.
Yes.
That's interesting. And do you remember the arrival of your siblings? Since you're the oldest, do you remember their births, either one?
I remember the arrival of the siblings. I remember going to the hospital, particularly when Rob was born, because I was 6 years old, and remember seeing Mom in this bed holding this little baby. But that was about it. Then they were in a different room, or I think Janet and I shared a room for a while. But that was, at that age, being 3 and a baby, it wasn't a lot of interaction.
That's probably true. Now, what other Solomania pops to mind? What are images that you remember? You know, sort of the course of the years. You know how some of those just stand out.
I remember learning how to bike ride in Spike and Dival at a little park that had this big, tall, phallic statue, and Dad sort of trotting alongside as in my first biking expedition. I remember going to nursery school and being driven every day by Mom and being dropped off, and I think that was the first time I was away from home.
Was it scary or was it?
That was scary.
Yeah.
I remember crying a lot. I must have been 5 or 4 at that time. I remember sort of the apartment that we had in Spike and Dival, and the favorite game that I remember playing, which I could only play when my parents were in a different room because they didn't like this, was climbing on the furniture and pretending that
you couldn't
touch the floor.
I know that game.
And you had to jump and they didn't like this jumping from one bed to another bed. So I had to wait till they were in the kitchen or watching television. I'd sneak out and I'd start climbing on all the furniture.
Doesn't seem like something you could keep up quietly for too long.
No, and they usually found out. Definitely.
But the risk was worth the...
Well, that was what was considered fun at that time. Those are the early memories.
What about going off to college? Did your parents take you up?
Oh, yeah. Now that's a long time
Yes.
later.
Big jump.
And I remember being very anxious to go, and they drove up, unpacked, we went out to dinner at an Italian restaurant with another family who also had an incoming freshman student. And I remember writing letters for about the first year, every so often. And that my writing ability has never been great, and that gradually diminished. But I do recall all those letters home, send money.
Now, did Ruth cry when she dropped you off?
I don't remember.
Just curious.
I don't know. I suspect not. She probably would not have done that. Been that demonstrative.
Mm-hmm.
Would have held that back.
Yeah.
And Dad, of course, sort of pushed it off as some inconsequential. I'm glad you're no longer here. You're out of my hair. I don't have to worry about you anymore. So you're somebody else's problem. I mean, his way of showing affection is to always, push you away and make like it's not important. but that, you know, I understood that.
Yeah, yeah. That does sound like our Harold, doesn't it?
I do remember driving, recalls an experience when we were driving around Cambridge. I think it was at the time they were taking me to college. I had this fantasy that I would change my last name. Now that I was moving out of the family and moving away, I was going to be a different person. And I really thought, and I must have believed seriously on some level, that I could do this. And I remember mentioning it, and Dad was very, very unhappy about it. And that was the last I ever thought about it, but I do recall it was about that time that I was living this fantasy that I could now become somebody else. I was leaving the family, I could go away, and I was going to make this clean break. I was no longer going to be a Solomon. I would change my first name, my last name, I'd just be somebody different. And I suggested this in a nonchalant way as we were driving around Cambridge, and Dad was furious. And actually, that's one of the few times I can recall his getting that kind of anger. At least it impressed me as being angry. And that was the last that it was ever mentioned, the last I ever thought about it.
Any final anecdotes for the
I hope they do make another 50.
That's a long time away.
I think that, you know, they say the first is the hardest.
The first 50 years.
I hope they make another 50. I think they're both survivors of life and of each other. So
it's a long time.
It's a long time. Okay, that's my contribution. Thank you.
We now are involved in what is a very serious poker game.
My hand would have changed.
And for the purposes of experimental, we will look into Jill's hand here to see what she could possibly have.
I feel that I'm going to lose this.
I have 4 sevens.
Look at that hand.
I'm out. I have 3 aces, and your 4 sevens beats me, right? My low hole card was a 2.
And the winner is?
And so there's a pair of 2s and a pair of 7s, and I go, whoop-de-doo.
And once again, we have the tragedy of Ruth winning every game.
4 sevens.
A terrible, terrible tragedy that happens every time we play.
Oh, I didn't get it. I just got it. So it's like your low hole card, let's say mine happened to be a 3.
Right.
If I
Here's
had
a
another
picture
3
of
that
a
I had another
loser.
one wild, I did
A man,
one, but I didn't
a
get
man
it.
who loses every game he's ever played at this, and who gives more instructions than anybody I've ever seen, Mr. Harold Solomon, well-known loser of poker and instructor of poker.
Rob, would you like to
Over here,
me? I'm going to do my best Rob Solomon imitation.
we have Mr. Hatmore, always bored by Solomon activities,
Do we have a request?
hanging in there, even though he thinks this is utterly ridiculous and boring, and he's actually right.
Baseball again.
Okay, baseball is the 3 9s and the 4 thing.
Rick,
Okay.
the man who is yet to win a game,
Everybody keep your
Who
eye
has-
on the
Look, I mean,
hand.
look.
the man who only will not be able to use the tolls, pay for the tolls, unless
I saved my toll money over here.
What are we playing? I just
Roundy
Baseball.
round.
Jill,
Round
Is that
round.
baseball?
9s and 3s and 4s. And 9s are
And I'm not
wild.
making you buy your way in.
here is the
It's too complex.
hands of a dealer, of a true dealer, Miss
Keep your
Jill.
eye always on the hands because they're very tricksy.
Do they ever leave the sleeves by
An
any
ace
chance?
for the Hatmeister.
We'll now leave this.
Good job. Good job. Dogged in for Janet.
Is baseball high, low? Baseball's just high.
It
Just
can
a-
be either
okay,
one.
just a
The
high.
dealer's not supposed to have questions.
Yours is not to
A queen
question
to
why.
Ruth. A queen to a queen.
To a
On
queen.
her
Oh,
50th
give me a
anniversary.
call.
Not
to a
what a
douche.
duty.
Dog do.
And a jack to the dealer. What a lovely
We now
ace
leave
bet.
this happy
The
group
ace bet.
and head back upstairs, knowing that only 1% of this group is actually having fun. Now,
And now we interrupt our video programming for a preview of the famous family from hell, part of the continuing series about dysfunctional families.
Hi, Janet. You can get rid of that anytime you want.
All right.
Now here's a question I have for you. You are on the air now.
Oh, I am.
Yes.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about going to visit your dad at work.
Yes.
Could you just tell me briefly what that was like? Your sort of memories of that?
It was very special for me. I can remember the picture that I have is walking on the sidewalk, sort of waiting to see my father, who would meet us. And it was sort of like, you know, trying to look through a sea of faces and pick out the one that was my father. And my father always wore a hat back in the days when I was very young. And I can remember this feeling of seeing my father's face coming through the crowd, seeing this man walking toward me with his hat on, and at first sort of thinking, I think that's him. And then the certainty that it was my father as he walked closer and closer to me. And it was a very nice, warm, safe, happy kind of feeling. And when you asked me specifically about work, that was sort of one of the aspects of going to visit my father in New York. But actually being in his office, usually it involved getting a present of something. Maybe it was the latest styles that they were putting into the catalog, and then I would go home with a dress that was very special that I could show off when I was at school. Or it might be, I can remember one time getting a doll that was sort of the latest in realistic looking dolls, and I was very proud and very happy about that.
My recollection of my parents going out at night has always been very, very sweet, and it always is something that I like to think about when I'm feeling kind of down. I always remember my mom and dad dressing up and feeling like my mom was putting on all this jewelry and earrings, and I thought she was so beautiful, and my father getting in a suit and then leaving us, and then I would look forward to the hour when my parents would come home, because I'd be long asleep then, but I could always depend on my mother. There was always my mother who would come and sit on the side of the bed and talk to me for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and I just thought that was so great. It was so neat to have somebody who always was right there and very warm and cuddly and nice. It was something I really looked forward to.
I'm filming this now. They start this. Rob says, come upstairs, you're going to sing with me. Here it goes. I don't want to sing. I don't want to sing. Why are you taking me up these stairs? Okay.
Okay,
I just have to say this. Here they go.
I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey. You better be ready about 8:30. Now, dearie, don't be late. I wanna be there when the band starts playing. Remember when we get there, honey, the 2 steps, I'm gonna have them all. I'm gonna dance out both of my shoes when they play the Jelly Roll Blues. Tomorrow night at the Darktown Strutters Ball. You're gonna give a little tappy tappy shoe now. Be down to get you in the taxi, honey. You better be ready at 8:30. Oh, now, Dorothy, don't be late. I'm gonna be there when the band starts playing. And remember when we get there, honey, 2 steps, I'm gonna have them. Now take it away. I'm gonna dance the Jelly Roll Shoes when they play the Jelly Roll Blues. Tomorrow night at the Darktown Strutters Ball.
Ruth is what?
That the issue of, and I've talked to Mom about this earlier on the tape, your first meeting with Mom, was there some sort of like basic animal attraction that
Not at all.
None.
None whatsoever.
Were you paid to go out?
No, I was, it was on the nature of a blind date.
Were you told about this person ahead of time?
Very little. She was a friend of a friend, and it was sort of set up. As a matter of fact, it really wasn't a date the first time. We just happened to be together as part of a group.
And was this like fun, or was this sort of a dud of a date, or was this an excellent date?
No, it was fun.
What did you do?
Dancing with a group. We went to a restaurant nearby, and we danced and sat around a table and talked, and took her home, and it was nice. It was nothing special.
And was there like a kiss involved in this date?
I don't recall, but I might have kissed her goodnight.
Do you have any recollection? I mean, any recollection whatsoever of ever the first kiss that you had with Mom?
The first kiss?
Yeah.
No.
No. So this was not like an earth-shattering.
Oh, no.
This
not,
is not
in any way.
And when after this first date, did you make a decision that this was a babe that you wanted to date some more, or was this like, what was the reaction after this first date?
I don't know that there was it was a great reaction. I think I would have enjoyed going out with her again. But I don't even know that we made a date after that. It might have been another one of these get-togethers with friends that she and I were together as part of the crowd. But I don't recall specifically that being a date or anything. It might have been, but I don't recall.
Yeah. And afterwards, did you start dating on a regular basis?
We then started dating on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, may I throw in a little anecdote?
I wish you would.
It's in the order of an anecdote. I had met another girl on a summer vacation up in the mountains that I was dating fairly regularly, and I'm associating this with Mom now. And I think the first time that I might have felt a little bit closer to Mom and interested in her was at a little gathering. I can only visualize it being in an apartment or someplace where I took this other girl as a date. Mom was there. But I paid more attention to Mom. I was rather rude, I would say, to the other girl. I was on the verge then of dropping her because of Mom. But look, that's a kind of a
Roue, devil may care.
And did Mom appreciate this additional attention, or
Well, I
was
think
it lost
so,
on her?
because we went out after that and kept going.
And this is the origin of
I would
your
say
relationship.
it was the start. Mom may remember it differently, but that's my recall. I don't have total recall, though.
Well, thank you. If you'll just sit there for a moment, I will.
Oh, I did. Can I do anything?
You just need to like. You know, Dad, I've always been, ever since I've grown up, just a little bit uncertain of the proper technique, the proper schnoink, schnivvy, schnell technique. And it's been, what, at least 30 years since it's been applied to me. So if I could ask you, could you give just on the teddy bear that's in front of you the proper application of the schnoink, schnivvy, schnell?
I would be delighted.
I would appreciate that.
I would be delighted.
Okay.
Actually, let me preface.
I know you didn't want to give an explanation. All of a sudden, you were just brimming with information.
Preface this by saying it will not be elaborate. I can't embellish on it. The gesture is the same whether you're schnoinking, schnibbling, or schnelling.
They go the same, though, don't they? Isn't it part of a triad? There's not a singular schnoink.
It's a singular thing. You don't do all three at once necessarily.
But you wouldn't do just a schnoink. A schnoink,
oh,
schnivvy,
no,
schnell is...
You might do a schnoink. All
okay.
Only a schnoink. You go schnoink. That
now, is with the
song.
spread fingers, is that the key?
That's part of it. Schnoink.
Yeah. And then what about a schnivvy?
It would be schnivvy.
And a schnell would
or
be...
schnell.
And if you do them all at once, is it schnoink, schnivvy, schnell?
But it's not really necessarily a combination.
And which part of the body do you usually apply the schnoink, the schnivvy, and the schnell?
Nothing. You point it. And
do you touch the That's it.
Just point.
Okay.
Schnoink, schnivvy, schnell.
Now, Mom and Dad, you've been married for 50 years now, and having just recently gotten married, I would appreciate having a little knowledge. What are the ingredients that make this possible? How is it?
God.
What do you need to make a marriage last 50 years? This is like nobody knows how to do this. You guys have done this. Could you just take a few minutes and give us the insight as to how you do it?
Tolerance. A great deal of tolerance.
What else?
Oh, now Dad can say.
I agree with
Are you afraid to answer this question?
Yes. No, I'm not afraid to.
Give it a shot.
I just agree with what Mom says. So if I agree, I don't understand why I have to add to it or embellish it upon it. She is very articulate. She brings out the key reasons why a marriage can last 50 years. Plus the fact you got to be very lucky and willing to let her be the boss. It's simple. She's the boss, and I'm the slave.
Have you been the boss for 50 years?
Absolutely.
Does that help? That's the thing. What I want to know is, it help to have a boss in a marriage?
It helps with one person is basically in control. It eliminates a lot of problems. When two people want to be in control, there's a lot of arguing.
And so who's been in control for these 50 years?
These 50 years, I would say basically yours truly has been in control.
I don't actually remember it that way.
Yeah.
Just as a counterpoint, I remember earlier on Dad being the dude, the guy to be worried about. Was that an incorrect assessment?
Yeah, I would say your assessment is correct. I think early in the marriage, yes, the husband was in control.
Then I was beaten down and stepped on and
but I think
crushed.
as I grew into the marriage and I became a little bit more self-confident, that it was easier for me to voice my opinions, whereas I initially listened to Dad.
Does that sum it up, Dad? Do you have any, is this it? I just want to know so I can manage to get somebody in control in my relationship.
It better sum it up because I can't refute what she says and live through it. I want to get to 51 years of that.
Well done.
Are we having a viewing?
Rachel.